Wow. It's good to be here, round 2.
Okay.
Thank you, Link, for really putting me as part of the member of the group. So,
sorry, we'll just use
okay.
You want to use my phone?
So last week, a little review. We're talking about emotional mastery. We're talking about not having a mushy mind and really strengthening our brain muscles so that our mind can overrule the natural, organic way that our emotional, character traits are built from the process of digesting what you're about to experience. Your limbic part of your brain works 3 to 4 times faster than your rational part of your mind. So it's very easy to just get emotional. That's the way nature has created us. But our Torah and science does teach us that we have the power to really strengthen our mind and not let it get mushy, and in fact, hardcore, really, really toned and muscled out. So we have that ability to have more self-mastery. When we first, many years ago, it was constantly changing theories and, so much about past traumas and really having to talk it out for 10 years. And then research started showing that it not only did it not help, but it really made matters worse, because the more you focus on those kinds of things, the more you're gonna think about it, the more it's just gonna affect you in a negative way. And then more modern research shows that, just give the tools of how to master your mind and you'll be able to do really fine. And that's why something called CBT has been in the market, and it's cognitive behavioral therapy, which is really upgrading, the cognitive part of your mind to really fill up your mind with all the great things so that you can think things through. And when I was 33 years in my master's degree program, and I really entered my field because I want to learn, I can't stand that I don't have this mastery, and how come I behave this way and I really don't want, and how come I'm so sad sometimes and I really don't want, and it was really hard. So, and what gave me the incredible hope is I was crossing the street. I don't know if you're familiar with Northridge, and it's this big street, and I was parking and then going to my class, and I see a seeing eye dog with a blind man, and I'm like, I know 2 dogs. I mean, I've seen seeing eye dogs before, but it dawned on me, wait a minute, this dog really usually goes wild and doesn't have that kind of self-discipline. It has a really puny brain, not a human brain, I'm sorry dog, but and yet it's able to be trained. But what baffled me more than ever is this cat started crossing the street. And I'm I was on the other side, I'm oh my gosh, how can I help? He's blind and there's a cat. I mean, for sure he's gonna fail this one. But it didn't. It just walked past the cat. And I'm whoa. If a dog could be trained to go so diametrically opposite its ferocious nature, wow, I have hope. It really helped me believe in the power of the mind and the power of brain training. And so it really gave me such chizuk and such incredible hope. And you learn in the Torah not to go after your heart's desire, and that even when the people are going out to war, don't be faint-hearted. How could God command all these things when we learn it's not so easy, because our natural biological chemistry, the way we're made, is that it is very emotionally charging when something happens to you, especially that traumatic. So last week we were talking about visualization and meditation. So today I want to go a little into detail about that. And some of it is from Rabbi Dov Pinson's work, some of it is from Rabbi Ginsburg's work, actually The Mystery of Marriage. Because, like, honestly, his number one thing is if you allow your mind to just randomly go anywhere and your imagination, your faculty of your imagination is not harnessed in a good and productive way, then it runs wild and really messes up your relationships, because your mind just keeps telling you things that either aren't based on reality, expectations that are not based on what's really possible, and you take personally everything. And I'm so happy seminary girls are here to like learn this before they get married, because it's so easy to just run wild with it, and it then affects you so much in your relationships. So we learn that, you see, the brain is very, very in a chaotic state. And especially, we were saying, so stressed out in this generation. So we really need to relax the body before we can tap into the superpower of our mind. So breathing deeply brings oxygen to the brain, helps declutter the old oxygen. Doing different kind of muscle exercises after the deep breathing, and we'll do it today, demo. Clenching your fist and slowly letting it go, tightening your stomach and tightening your toes, and then let go. So you do these kinds of exercises to help your body relax. Then the next step is your mind now is more ready because your body's relaxed. If your body's not relaxed, your brain can't relax. If your brain can't relax, it can't focus, it can't concentrate, it can't get into its deep powers. There was actually a story of a chassid that had a three-prong Nagelwasser, and it was very interesting. Everyone was looking at it. Is it some Kabbalistic secret of why you're having three? And they were wondering, and then they asked him. He said, no. I do this to remind me of how to have more self-mastery. And because when you do Nagelwasser, the whole thing about that, the mystical symbolism of it, is that you want the water of Torah to be able to be contained in you, so that it could wash away the impurities of your hand related to action. Because if your emotion is not pure, erratic, unstable, then your reactions to things will follow suit. So he said these three things are the three brain faculties of Chokhmah, Bina, and Das, which is our highest intellectual powers of our mind. And these three actually will give birth to these healthy emotions. Kind of you see children and their brain is this small, and they're so emotional. Everything makes them cry, because their brain isn't developed. The more your brain is developed, it's still, not easy, but you don't cry for a lollipop, because your brain tells you life is not worth crying for a lollipop. Or, he got a bigger piece of cake. Well, they weren't, maybe it was bigger, but so as you're more mature-minded, you can value things differently, right? So a mind that's more mature, more than the average person, when you're really doing this kind of work, then your thought processes really helps you realize, honestly, maybe there was a reason they behaved that way, and it's not because of the way I'm thinking. And you'll have the power to think it through and not act small-minded and jump to a conclusion and right away then get emotional. So that's why he did it, to remind him, I need to constantly strengthen my mind so I can wash away these negative emotions. Because it'll, by an organic process, this strengthening of our mind in this way will help us give birth to healthy emotions. Because again, if you're thinking positively, the normal process is that you'll have healthy emotions. And by the way, we don't have to go to the moon and try to create ourselves. All of this is in us. All these healthy emotions God gave us. Like He has those positive emotions, we have it. It's just a process of more and more revealing it. So when you're doing meditations and visualizations, the more details, the more you use your five senses, the more, of course, after you've calmed your body down and calmed your mind down, then you can start in detail, have access to not only the power of your mind, but even having even more and more spiritual connections to things and more spiritual sensitivity. So, so Rabbi Pinson actually says, he's a great Kabbalist, and he says, between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is a lot of stored information from past experiences. So it's very easy also for us to be triggered by the way he behaved or what she said, because it kind of reminds us of the subconscious collection of past history. So there is something to it. But talking and talking and talking about it has been proven that it really doesn't work. There's things like 3D therapy, there's emotion code, and all kinds of things to actually remove from the deep subconscious parts of your mind, or filling your mind with so much positivity, as we said last week, there's no room for it. So it's very easy, if you don't do this work, to be having these reactive responses because of these deeply ingrained, memories that are lodged into your brain. And that's why it's so easy sometimes to be emotional with our, family members. So he mentions 3 different types of imageries that will help remove whatever is the garbage and that needs to be, made obsolete in your brain. And he says one is very creative, where you create what you want. You really take the time and you imagine what goal that you want in full detail, and you see it as if you're living it at the moment. You could also take, again, a past memory or a future, goal, because maybe a past memory was so good. Maybe that memory, everyone liked you, and you were the popular one back then, and you felt on high, and you felt like you owned the world, and so you could take a memory like that. So another technique is imagery that already exists. So let's say there's a person that you emulate. They're really a role model for you. Maybe a Rebbe, a mentor, someone that you see them and wow, I wish I could be more like them. And so you use the imagery that's already existing. For instance, you can use an imagery of, let's say, waterfalls that's existing, and if that's going to help calm you. But it's a form of meditation that you're not really so much creating, because it's already, you saw it. It's something already there. And then there's visual awareness meditation. And this is you just close your eyes. And you may see colors, I tried it myself again today after reviewing this, and I'm yeah, I was seeing streams of light. That's what came. And so then I started thinking, the lights of Hanukkah, and then it went from that to, and it just gradually, what was appearing, I used in a positive, productive way for a goal that I wanted for myself. So these are instances where, you can use the power of your mind. Now, sometimes, and I have this with many clients, they tell me, I just can't visualize. It's just not happening. So I say to them, that, first of all, meditation doesn't necessarily have to be imagery, visualization. It could be just calming your body and deeply thinking about something. It's yes, if you could like think of the details of what you want, like I really want to be, less impatient, and I'm sensing the way my body would feel. So you don't have to see it, just like connect to it, and the deeper you connect on all five senses, the better. So another thing that's very hard is to detach yourself from like what's been going on in your life, because it's like a roller coaster, your thoughts, or like I say, like a 24 radio station sometimes happening at the same time. So sometimes it's not easy. It's a matter of getting in the habit, learning how to ride a bike, and you're not going to do it in an instant. And I tell them, then you really have to do it, because it's just going to get worse. You're going to have more ADHD, and no medicines are going to help you. You really have to settle your mind and take ownership of it. So in a sense, when we try our best to detach quickly from what's going on around us, and sometimes even just, again, focusing on one thing, and try as you may, you might have another thought on that, but keep trying. I mean, it even says in Tanya that, like, people pray and they don't want to pray anymore because they have so many thoughts, and they feel so ashamed to like pray in front of God when I have this thought, I have to make this spaghetti and the children, and oh my gosh, I can't pray. That's so like disrespectful. It's not for me. It's more for you. But in Tanya, it actually does say that this is part of God's plan, that you're going to have this battle, that these extraneous, thoughts are going to come to attack you, and to help you strengthen your mind and motivate you to do something about it. And God knows how He plans our mind and created it, so He's not judging us, and He's not looking down at us. And so too in meditation. I mean, I wrote this book called Prayer and Meditation, to help us do these types of meditations while praying. Because, face it, how many people have time, really? Maybe, sometimes before going to sleep, but for some are very lucky, they just fall asleep right away. But in the hustle bustle of the day, it's very hard to sit in one place, close your eyes, when you have a zillion things to do. So if you're anyways praying, you can access that golden opportunity of time, which, by the way, let me explain to you. While you're praying, it's the most active part of the mind's ability to reach its highest potential. Most people don't know it. The teaching is, it's called Moichin de Gadlus. It's a power of your mind to expand, because you're constantly saying good things. You're constantly having the opportunity to tune out the world and train your mind to like zoom in on this word and what does it mean and why am I saying it, and I'm forcing myself not to let the 24 different thoughts enter my mind. And that's a training process. And if you can then have fun with visualization, we know that the teaching is that the prayers are a replacement of the Beit HaMikdash. So you can visualize yourself in the Beit HaMikdash. You can visualize what they used to do in the Beit HaMikdash. They would bring their animal as an offering, and that animal would represent their animalistic negative character traits. So if they would have an angry personality, they would bring up an ox, because it's a goring ox. And if they had a lustful personality, they would bring a sheep. So you can imagine the whole point of prayer is to ask God, I have these character traits, and I need to come to you to help me eradicate it. I can't do it on my own. And do you know what happened in the Beit HaMikdash? A holy fire in the shape of a lion would consume the animal. So this is metaphorically, symbolically, what we're doing in prayer. We're coming to God and say, I have this anxiety, I have this depression, I have these addictions. I can't do it myself. I know that it's you that's going to help me. So that also is so freeing. That is, we were saying, you have anxiety, that you have anxiety. You have depression, and then you're depressed, that you're depressed. Now you know. It's not because I'm not going to fix it. I'll do my part, show up, do a little meditation, do my visualization, but it's really you, God. And it's so it's like the chained, choking feeling of the stress of having to fix yourself just begins to dissipate. It's not about all me. It's about, yes, I'm doing a little my part, but it's really him. So, wow. The more, sometimes some people have more, obsessive thoughts than other people. And Tanya teaches that some people are born and their mission is to really harness their power of their mind. And they're more plagued by a lot of extraneous thoughts. So sometimes while in the situation, while you're developing this mastery of your mind, there's techniques that you can do when in a situation to get out of that mode. One technique that the Rebbe, a previous Rebbe, Frierdiker Rebbe, actually writes in his book, it's like, imagine yourself leaving your body and seeing yourself and detaching your body and your soul a bit. Just move out, and so you can not as easily take personally what's happening, and it's not an unhealthy escape. He gives us permission. It's okay to do that. And then eventually he says, once your brain gets more and more strengthened, then you can more easily put yourself in the situation and not be triggered. Let me give you a personal experience that happened to me. While I was studying all this and trying to get this super brain training, and I was kind of proud of myself. I've been studying this, I'm really getting good. But back in the time, I had a lot of stomach ailments. And my friend invited me to a brain train course. She said, try it, come one time. She'll let you come one time to see how it is. So I go. Sorry. My brain. So all of a sudden, she's saying, anything in life that's bothering you, you're suffering, and I'm thinking, I don't need this class. I've been really controlling my behavior, but I'm here. My friend told me, I'll learn something. And, but I am actually suffering severe stomach problems. I had H. pylori, acid, all kinds of things. So she said to me, tell me about it. What's going on? And I said, life is difficult and challenging situations, but thank God, I'm really controlling it, and I'm micromanaging and not reacting, so I'm really happy actually. She goes, what has your thought process been? Well, oh my gosh, it's so hard. And I'm it's really a war, but, thank you, Hashem. She goes, because you're so worked up in controlling the behavior, it's really causing you a lot of acid. So she says, give me a scenario. So I said, okay, nighttime. I told the kids, really, you gotta go to sleep. They go, oh, can I come down? I want a drink. So I said, fine, I'm nice. I give them a drink. And I said, please be careful, don't spill. And then it's getting hairy, and then I'm to here, and then I'm controlling myself. Fine, no, I'll clean it, go to bed. I'll meet you up soon. So she said, why are you thinking all these negative things that are making you so stressed out? So she says you have to analyze the thought process so that you can change those thought processes, so that you won't have to battle controlling those negative emotions. So she was saying to me, think about it. I'm well, I don't want to clean up. I want to go tell Tzaddikim story. Like, that's the whole point. I love bedtime and cuddling. Like, that's like my favorite time of the night. So I'm thinking, wait, she was saying analyze that. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not being such a tzaddik. Better to behave nicely and perfectly and more calm with them and like have a party with them. I spill too. I have two hands, actually. I really do spill a lot. You know, they don't have to. So change my thoughts about it. They're not doing it on purpose and ignoring me and taking advantage of my kindness. Yeah, they have two hands, like I have two left hands. They don't have fine motor control. And yeah, more important to reading a tzaddik story is for me to be a tzaddik and show them in real life what's a story compared to seeing me. So I started changing the way I thought about the situation. And then guess what? I changed my thought process about it. They're not doing it on purpose. They're not mosquitoes trying to get me and bite me and all these kinds of things that you think about sometimes. No, I wanted to show them by example. No, I have to. And then I didn't have to fight and struggle and control the emotion because my mind was taking me elsewhere. And when my mind was producing more of these positive thoughts about the situation, then my stomach started to be more relaxed and I could digest easier and the healing started to begin. And this is actually what the deep teachings of the Torah actually teach us about. Remember, these three mental faculties, Chokhmah, Bina, and Das, when sharpened, meaning the more you use your mind in these great and holy way, whether it's prayer, whether it's learning Torah, whether it's meditation, visualization, you're using it for a purpose. It's not just cruise control random. Then your body's organic birth or byproduct of having developed these brain powers gives birth to these healthy emotions. And then you don't have to, fight it and not control it and then cause such tension and unfortunately, God forbid, so much acid in your body. I don't know if we said that, if you only knew how just even a little, trauma or hearing one negative word, how it affects your brain in a negative way. It really changes the chemicals in your brain. Just even hearing one word. Imagine someone's shaming you for a minute. Imagine it's like a 10-minute, things are happening. But if you trained your brain while hearing it, you're not going there. You're not absorbing it. You're like, it's okay, I have my moments, they have their moments. I might be gifted with, a higher soul for whatever reason, and they just are clueless, and I have pity on them. You're thinking all these thoughts, whether it's true or not, but you're not thinking, how could they say that? It's really hurt. You're not there. You're like, woohoo, helicopter, out of the picture, thinking so differently, and it's protecting you. It's protecting your brain chemicals. It's protecting the health of your body. So, this way, we have the power to shed off all the hurt and the pain and the disappointments and the judgments and all the toxicity that's bombarding us. And you can feel more safe in your space and really deal with things in a safe way. Have you ever seen a mother? I've seen it all the time, and I say it all the time in my parenting classes. The child just crossed the street, and out of control mother, because she's in fight and flight mode, and she's has to save her child. She runs, grabs her before the car, and now her adrenaline is on steroids, and she's yelling, punching, don't you ever do that again. And you're thinking, I watched this from a distance, and you're thinking, what the heck? She almost lost this child's life wouldn't you think she'd be like dancing up for joy, happy, hugging, I love you? Wouldn't you think she would show the affection of love? Because she's in a fight and flight mode and it's on overdrive and it's triggering her, right? So wouldn't it have been nice that she would charge that energy into love and say, oh my gosh, feel my heart. You don't understand. I'm so scared for you. I love you so much. Hug and kiss and please don't ever do that again. You put yourself in danger. You don't know what, you made me so scared. What a world. What a difference. Someone who has this self-mastery over their emotions, someone who is more stoic, the things around them don't as easily trigger them into a panic mode. And more one can think through even in an emergency. Even in an emergency. You know how many times people in emergency kind of mess up because they're so discombobulated, they're so anxious? There's a famous story that Napoleon caught a traitor, and this master mindful chassid knew that if he doesn't slow his heart down, he's dead. Because the guy, in a second, Napoleon, to see if he was a real traitor, went to his heart and saw it was calm. So, oh, he's not a traitor. He knew instantly, I have to think this through. He's about to go to my heart. He worked on calming his heart down. And biofeedback shows you can calm your heart down with training.
After I heard this story, I tried it at home.
Oh, you tried that story? You know that story?
Yeah.
So, it saved his life. He was able to think clearly to do the right thing. I mean, it's not just, we should never be in such situations, but sometimes, like, you know, you see someone choking, having a high rate, you go, no, you have to take action. You can't be overwhelmed and all over the place. So, we gotta also be careful when doing meditation, like warning sign, you know, red label. You can't do things, Rabbi Pinson says this, you can't do this based on fantasy, because fantasy is different than like a holy and healthy imagination. Fantasy is like, oh, I'm gonna like have a visualization that I can fly. Well, you're not gonna be able to fly. So, but I'm giving an exaggerated example. Like doing things that it's just beyond the expectation of what you can so quickly sometimes. It's just not, you know, and fantasy and taking yourself as if like I need to calm down and I'm going to go on a fantasy. It's, I mean, like fantasy, like go to an island, but like something that's like just like not productive, not holy, and really can trick your mind into a state of getting to an unhealthy place. Like, you know, imagining that you're going to be a giant, I'm going to grow, and you're a midget. Like, you know, like there's certain basic, you know, things that don't hurt yourself and cause your brain pain, basically. Because there's a lot of, also, Rabbi Pinson says, a lot of propaganda out there in the world, and there's like a lot of imagery that you're seeing, and your brain connects to it, like, oh, drink this beer, and you'll have like all the friends in the world. You're like, you know, and it has its effect, and it has it. So you have to be like also careful of what you're seeing out there, and like make sure you detach yourself from these different things that can influence your brain. The Rebbe Yerushalmi Kuntras HaVoda, which is one of the Chabad Rebbe's, says you have to be so careful of what you see, what you hear, because it affects your brain. And then it affects how you sleep, and it affects the nightmares you'll have. It's just not to be messed with, because once you see an image, it's there forever. I mean, until you so fill your mind there's no room. But like, you know how many times sometimes I see something and it reminds me of some, you know, thing I saw a long time ago? And it was like Baal Shem Tov stories, but like I see the guy beating up the bear. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. Even though it's like a holy story, but the imagery, even to this day, I remember how my children were so affected. They just did the beating part of the movie. And I thought I'm getting them a Baal Shem Tov movie. And they saw it, and nothing did they repeat, but all the bear, beatings. So it's really critical. And there's so many narratives in society, and we have to get rid of the false, narratives. So I wanted to read from you from. Wow, gosh, time goes fast.
We're all enjoying it.
Yeah, wow,
no
so
rush.
fast. Okay, so I want to read from you from The Mystery of Marriage, Rabbi Ginsburg, and it's really fascinating. I'm just like, it's so, when you hear his words about it. Okay, so it says here, we have the power, Koach HaMedameh, and really all of your future and especially marriage, but all relationships are really predicated upon rectifying the power of your imagination. So it says that we have to tame and harness this unbounded chaotic powers and this energies that are limiting us, and instead define this imagination and its power, and then direct them again in a productive and holy way. So he says that no matter how rational we may think we are, the imagination is the primary driving force in most people's psyche. And when properly oriented and rectified, then our rich and fertile powers of imagination is a blessing. For it enables us to envision our ultimate goals, to develop our talents. A healthy imagination makes an individual inspired, vibrant, and an exciting person, and impels one to realize their dreams. A weakened imagination thus inevitably leads to one toward apathy, lethargy, and despair. And the untamed imagination is therefore the psychological base of one's evil inclination. So much so that he says that this unrectified imagination will deceive the person and trick them. So we need to purge ourselves from the negative, unhealthy influences, as we said, and reorient our mind toward positivity. And especially today, modern generation, it's all over the place. It's so easy to be, challenged by it. I want to then mention that he says here the associations of what is imagination? Let me explain. So I just saw something. Someone just walked by me, and my brain goes to an association, maybe to a past trauma, when maybe a parent of mine was so upset with me, walked and ignored me. Now, my brain is associating something of the past with something that just happened, and it's not connected. They just didn't see me. There was once a story of a man who was in an elevator and rushed out of the elevator because he had to catch an appointment. He went into the car and he said, "Taxi driver, you don't understand. I have to go back. I have to go back. If we go back, we're gonna miss the appointment and the timing of your flight. No, I have to go back." So the taxi driver really, what was so important? So he's sitting there, guy comes back, goes, "What was so important? I know I saw you talking to some guy and he was so happy. What was all that about?" He says, "You don't understand. I was so busy, I was so thinking about not missing my flight, that when the guy came in to the elevator, I frowned because I'm looking at my time, and right as I was looking at my time, and I frowned that I might not make it in time. And he saw my frown, but he didn't see me looking at my watch, and he might think that I ignored him, and that I was that mad at him. I had to clear that away. I have to. Back in the days, I'm sure there was no cell phones. or texting and all that. And he said, like, you know, I just didn't want to hurt his feelings. And actually, I asked him, and he was very hurt, and he thought he did something, and he started, you know, his imagination going wild. What did I do? How did I offend him? Why is he mad at me? So the faculty of imagination makes the association between something and something that's not. That's when it's not healthy. And it makes links between two apparently unconnected, like, realities or concepts. Now, based on these faulty structures of our mind, we make spurious inferences. An extreme example of someone who does not develop this faculty of imagination and harness it in a good way is psychosis, delusions. Like, that's the extreme, that their brain just is, you know, really weak and going places and making connections and having, like, delusions. So, he says here, meditation, abstractions, projections, learning deeply, praying and meditating while praying, all these harness our faculty of imagination and direct it. It's like, imagine you have like this castle and you have all these treasures, and the king is like a drunk and he doesn't like even pay attention to the guards don't even care, and all these like gangsters come stealing the gems. So when we don't harness, this is my faculty of imagination, I'm going to use it like in a good and holy way, then the Yetzer Hara can't take it. The natural order of the brain power can't just go wildly because no one's, you know, tending the garden, like the weeds, as we said last week, just like, you know, go all over the place. So we have what to do, and we have the cure. And I'm telling you, in my many years of working with bipolars and all kinds of obsessive compulsive disorders, anxiety, panic attacks, you can't even imagine, I help them brain train their faculty of imagination, and for 20, 25 years they've been cleared, and even though medicine, it's like unbelievable results. It's really, really, I mean, every top CBT therapist and all that's out there are getting the same results. I mean, this one woman from the 60-Second Fix book, she's saying like they don't have all these mental disorders anymore. And it's like 60 seconds a day, 1 minute a day goes a long way. So, let's do a meditation. Why not? It's safe. All right, we can get into a comfortable position. I don't know if we can dim the lights here. Sometimes, you know, we're able to do that. This actually, before I start the music, oh my goodness. It's Tiferes. It's by, we can dim the lights here. Richard Samuels. This is Chabad Nigunim, heavenly. Usually I use Rabbi Chaim Burston, but recently my stuff came from New York, and I'm like, I missed this CD and I missed that CD. I'm still into the CDs. Okay. I used to have like one of those iWatch and this thing. I just haven't had time to like replace it. It broke, but thank God to old technology as well.
Old school.
Old school.
Yeah, I can see the scene.
Okay, so tell us what we're doing.
So we're basically gonna calm our body down, and listening to beautiful music is also very calming, and especially holy music. It does affect our soul. Okay, one more time maybe. It did fall out of my car, so I hope this whole technology works.
What song is it?
It's Tiferes. I can actually, if it doesn't work, I can actually, one second, since I'm not using this phone, I have music on here. So, but I wanted you to hear this one. Let's see, we'll try. And then if not, I have all the nigunim on. Oh yeah, okay. No, what did I do? I pressed the wrong one now.
I think you changed it to radio.
I know, by accident, 1 second. I have to see.
CD.
Oh, here, there we go. Sorry. Technical. Okay. Since I did bring this old tech, let's do it. Okay. Okay, so I have to make it low because when it's recording, it overpowers the audience ability to hear the meditation. So, with every breath we take, we feel a wave of relaxation. You can close your eyes. Make sure to open your body up. Don't cross your arms. Don't cry now. Let our body be expansive and open, and let everything flow, hopefully, so easily. So let's begin taking those deep breaths and realize all the oxygen that's coming, so needed. How needed it is to help the oxygen go everywhere in your body to help relax your body. You can take a deep breath and hold it in, and after like 1, 2, 3, release it. And then try 6 breaths, holding it in and releasing. And then almost feel like this wave of relaxation, like from the deep breath as you're inhaling. You're really inhaling everything positive. Peace and tranquility, calmness. And every time you exhale all the negativity, stress, tension. And as you continue to deeply breathe, really now pay attention to your body. Where's your back? Feel your back against the chair. Feel your feet on the ground. Pay attention. And as you pay attention to how the body's becoming a little more relaxed, we're going to do some muscle exercises, sphincter muscle exercises to help the body relax even more. So you can tighten your toe muscles and tighten it and keep it tight for like a count of 3, and then slowly release. And then notice the difference between the tension of when it was, tensed up and the relaxation. One more time, tighten your toe muscles and let go. Slowly. Take a deep breath. And then focus on your stomach muscles. Tighten them up, almost as like you're bending over. And on a count of 3, let go. This time include a deep breath as you tighten in. And after 3, let go and open. Now focus on your fists. Make a tight fist. And count of 3, let go slowly. And now this time, as you tighten your fist, take a deep breath in. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale and slowly release. Now do your shoulders and neck area. Tighten them up by lifting it. Put your head down. Count of 3. Slowly let it go. And now do the same thing now with a deep breath in. Holding it. And letting go. And notice the difference between the tension and how it feels so much more relaxed when you let go. Now you can do all your facial muscles. Your cheeks, your eyes, your lips, even your forehead. Tense it up, count of 3, and let go. And now do the same with a deep breath. Hold it much lighter. And it's almost so easy now for you to like feel like you can imagine the most beautiful place in the world that you would love to be at. And you're taking steps there, and every step closer to the image, you feel more and more relaxed. As you get closer to the place, there's a big sign. It says no negativity allowed. So as you walk in, you feel a shedding of all leftover tensions, all negative feelings in your body, and you're able to go in free. In this place now, you can imagine yourself so free, happy, only positive energies. It feels like a heavy rock has been lifted off your back and off your heart and off your stomach. You just feel not only physically more relaxed and more released, but you see and sense how you feel mentally, emotionally. See an image of yourself just happy, light, vibrant. See yourself smiling. Actually smile. And here you think of happy memories. You feel all the futuristic happy memory, happy goals that are, you just like see it coming to life. It feels good. To just be free, to be happy, for no reason. And of course, your gratitude grows here because you really feel grateful of the beautiful place, the chance to recuperate, rejuvenate, and recalibrate. You really are thankful to Hashem for this opportunity to really access the deepest powers of your mind. Through this imagery, you're really creating templates and access to a greater, better you. So you're about to be ready to leave, but you know you can get back to this place whenever you want. You know what you were mindful and what you practice here in this vision is now with you. You have easier access to. So you feel really confident to leave because you did your work, you're taking it with you, and it's forever yours. Ingrained in your brain. And you can say a little prayer. Please, Hashem, I know it's you that's going to help me store it and be able to retrieve it at will. And you begin to walk out. You feel the strength of your feet, giving you the strength to march forward and really have the strength and courage to face realities now with a better version, now with more self-mastery, with more emotional mastery. You feel your heart calmly beating because now you have more hope. You have courage. You're not going to be as easily jolted like before. And your hands are just really so free to like help and give. And you begin to have even a greater smile because of this beautiful opportunity. And you slowly open your eyes, kind of like with a twinkle and a smile. Feel your body, it feels good. You'll like very soon so easily go to sleep. Okay. I don't know if you guys want to share some experiences. We could like stop the recording, or if anyone in Zoom or on Facebook have any questions before we shut it all off. You want to check on Zoom if there's,
For me, I just, when you were saying imagine, like, the place that you want to be, the moment I just kind of like, it's like, okay, I know where I enjoy being, but my mind didn't automatically go anywhere. So I just kind of let things flow and kind of focus into, just kind of let my mind take me wherever I want to be, because sometimes you think you want to be somewhere, but your heart really knows where you need to be at that moment.
Interesting. And where did you land in the end?
I kind of got some images of like a big like grassy
Beautiful.
field, but it was mostly just kind of my mind spinning with the music of like creating imagery to it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow.
I remember doing this when I was younger, closing my eyes and thinking of what colors
Wow.
just came through.
Wow. Beautiful. So let's see if there's any questions here.
No, I don't see anything.
Okay.
Can I comment?
Yeah, if you want.
So, I love that what you were saying about syncing with the music. Have you ever heard of waking up from the coma?
It's a book?
No, it's like a music thing that like dance to the music.
Interesting. There's like also tracks of tapes that are organized with brain patterns to sensing frequencies. I'm very into frequency training. I actually do that as well. Maybe we'll do that another lecture series. But different. I've never heard of that one actually. I'll write it down after. What is it called again?
I have to get the exact author. It's something about waking up after a coma.
It's a music?
Yeah, it's just like there's no words to it. It's just like it just dance to it.
Yeah.
And it really takes you.
Wow, beautiful.
What's the name of the
Rabbi Dov Ber Pinson. He does a lot of meditations. He's a great resource. I love all of his books. He has my Inner Rhythms is like my almost number 2 go-to book. His name is Rabbi Dov Ber Pinson, Pinson. His book.
He said something about between the subconscious and the conscious are a lot of stored what?
It's like stored memories.
What was
Even if you hear so many doctors now, like in 3D therapies and past traumas, it just really get lodged in our minds. So it's.
What was the exact wording of?
Oh, you want me to quote him? Okay, I'll re-quote. Okay, 1 second. He says, between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, there's a lot of stored like memories from past experiences and even past lives. And I don't know if you know 3D therapy, if you know there's emotion code, and they all talk about how like things can latch on either in the womb or in past lives, where this type of.
Could tell when a mom's in postpartum, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm so happy you all are here. So I'll hopefully see you on Thursday. Thursday we're gonna do like emotional mastery through, like really working on not emotionally eating. Okay. That's this Thursday.
This Thursday,
I'm
this
flying
one.
out Monday.
Yeah,
If any of you know anyone in Miami or Florida or New York that would like to set a event there, I don't know, is Link out there or is Link only in
No, Link is here. Dr. Shem will expand to have Miami.
Okay, thank you for joining.
Yes, bye.
Bye everyone.